For nearly 3 months last summer, southern Oregon and northern California communities were blanketed in smoke. We're digging into the effects that smoke had on our region's economy.
The Klamath fire in Northern California kicked off last year's fire season. We're taking a look at how our entire region was impacted by that deadly fire.
Prescribed burns and forest management are what a lot of people think are the key to preventing future fires. We're digging into the benefits.
Watching out for you. This is a Newswatch 12 special report, FireWatch 2019.
Southern Oregon and Northern California are preparing for wildfires after last year's long and destructive fire season. Thanks for joining us for this Newswatch 12 special edition, FireWatch 2019. I'm Ashley Hall.
And I'm Brian Morton. Over the next 30 minutes, we're looking at the recovery from the worst fires from last season. We'll be digging into the expectations for this season and investigating the impacts of smoke on tourism and our quality of life.
Oregon is expected to have a bad wildfire season. That's based on the National Interagency Fire Center Wildland Fire Potential Outlook. We're going to show you some video now of a wildfire from last August. This was in northwest Jackson County. Most of the U.S. is forecast to have a normal wildfire season through August. The West Coast is the exception. The report says a lot of grass and other fuels have grown over the winter in California. That elevates fire potential because it will dry out through the summer. There could also be an early fire season in the Cascade Range and Okanogan region.
As we prepare for this wildfire season, we wanted to look back at the past one. Wildfires and the smoke defined last summer. More than 900,000 acres burned in Oregon during the 2018 fire season. There were nearly 2,000 wildfires in the state. More than 1,200 were human-caused. Lightning started the rest. 61 met what the U.S. Forest Service called its large fire criteria. That means a fire was more than 100 acres in the forest or more than 300 acres in grassland. The largest fire in the state last year was the Klondike-Taylor Creek Fire. It grew more than 200,000 acres along the Jackson-Josephine County border. Now, California had 8,000 wildfires last year, 1.8 million acres burned. The Mendocino complex was the largest fire and the largest in the state history. That burned more than 450,000 acres in Southern California. 2018 was also one of the most expensive years to suppress fires in both the state's histories. Fire suppression cost more than $533 million just in Oregon last year. It cost nearly $950 million in California. The U.S. Forest Service spent more than $2.5 billion fighting wildfire all across the U.S. last year. On July 17th, people living in Central Point were threatened by the Penninger fire.
The grass fire started about 4:15 in the afternoon. Newswatch 12 was the first on the scene as that fire was approaching homes. The video you're looking at right now is from that Facebook Live from a year ago. And from this scene, you can see that it was a pretty scary situation for everyone living in Central Point. A 2-mile radius from Penninger Road near the Family Fun Center was on an evacuation notice. One man did die in this fire. It was a 60-year-old homeless man. The fire was determined to be human-caused. There's been a lot of regrowth in the year since that fire. You're looking at what the area looks like a few months later. In November, that group of 5th graders toured the area charred by the Penninger fire. Local fire crews and soil and water conservationists showed them around. They explained the devastating effects fire can have on the environment. The students also learned about the different types of plants that can affect a fire's spread.
And having them get a better understanding of how the fire works, how it will benefit the area after it's done, and how we can move forward to hopefully eliminate this type of fire in the community again.
In total, 100 acres burned in the Penninger fire.
During the Klamath fire, 1 person died and 82 buildings were destroyed. The fire started July 5th near Hornbrook in Siskiyou County. It spread north quickly, crossing into Oregon. Interstate 5 was temporarily shut down. Hundreds of people were evacuated. Newswatch 12 talked with one man as he returned home after the evacuations lifted. His home survived the fire.
It's very emotional. It is. It's, you know, you work really hard for what you have, and you'd hate to see a fire take it. But it is just structure. It's just materials. It's just wood. So it's not the most important. I mean, obviously people are what's important, and that's what matters.
It took 16 days to fully contain that fire. It ended up being more than 38,000 acres. An investigation found the cause of the fire to be reckless burning of debris. John Skoda was arrested and charged with manslaughter in connection with that fire. Hornbrook is now in the process of rebuilding its community. The Hornbrook Community Association is creating a 90-day recovery plan. Board members have consulted with the Bowles Fire Recovery Team in Weed for some guidance. They want to make this empty plot of land on your screen a community center. It will stand where the historic Grange burned down. This may take some time because Hornbrook is an unincorporated town and working through the county. The HCA says this will be a meeting space for local agencies and the community as a whole.
There are just so many things that this building did, being the only public building in town through times that we are kind of a lost soul here. There is no unifying place to have all these particular things and bring us back together.
Right now, the HCA is trying to figure out funding since it did not have fire insurance for that building. Other steps it's taking right now is making the community fire safe, hosting a community cleanup day, and putting on a Klamathon Fire homecoming celebration.
During wildfires, different agencies often need to work together, but who's in charge of the management depends on where each fire happens. We're asking the forest manager of the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest how he handles fires on national forest land.
Is there a distinct difference between how federal agencies look at forest fires and fight them than the state of Oregon might fight a fire given the same set of circumstances?
Well, I think we have more in common than we have in differences, especially when public lives and firefighter safety is at stake. Last year we had a lot of fire and we were all working together to get those fires out to keep people safe. So I like to think that we have more in common than we do different.
Is there a different sense of the federal agency letting more areas burn naturally, or is that, again, unique to a fire?
So I can't speak for every forest supervisor across the country, but I could tell you for me, on the fires that we have on the Rogue River Siskiyou, if we get an early lightning bust and we have fires that are anywhere near the summer months where it's the most hottest, we're going to put those fires out.
As a forest manager, is there a process that you would go through, do you think, that could eliminate the fire danger without eliminating potential environmental benefits that would be around in the forest?
Great question. So we have a lot of collaboratives that are helping our agency try to figure out what we want our forest to look like in the future. Everyone recognizes right now that our forests are more or less more dangerous during fire season than they are beneficial. So we're working closely with our collaboratives to design some projects utilizing things like the Rogue Basin strategy to try to figure out where we can appropriately put fire on the landscape when it's safe to do so, exclude fire when it's not safe to do so, but also do the mechanical restoration that's necessary out there to reduce the fuels.
As we enter this fire season, what do you see, what keeps you up at night when we enter a fire season like we're heading into right now?
Right now we're still hiring a lot of firefighters to make sure that they're in place and properly getting trained. What keeps me up at night is knowing that some of our landscapes that I'm going to be asking some of our men and women to go into are really hazardous and really dangerous. I'm also worried that some of our communities are not doing what they could to do defensible space around their homes. And so right now is the time to get out there and clean around your yards and reduce the vegetation that threaten their homes.
All right, thanks very much.
Yeah.
And we're also asking about how the forest landscape has changed because of wildfires. You'll find that full interview on our website, kdrv.com.
Through years of research and experience, firefighters have concluded that the best way to help prevent wildfires from raging and becoming deadly is prescribed burning. Some areas of our forests have not seen a fire in a century, and that can be considered good, but it also creates dense forest that grows more problematic with age.
These ingrown dense forests where fire hasn't been able to burn through its natural process, and now we have this buildup of fuel, which is also causing problems with forest health due to competition for nutrients, sunlight, and water around the trees.
Lomakatsi Restoration Project is just one of the many partners that work together with other agencies and organizations to do prescribed burning. Now, prescribed burning is being credited with minimizing damage from at least one recent fire. The Timber Crater 6 fire started last year on July 15th in the northeast corner of Crater Lake National Park. The Forest Service spent 20 years doing fuel treatments in that area of the Fremont Forest. It's because of those treatments that fire managers say they were able to contain that fire. Crews originally expected the fire to burn about 20,000 acres, but it was contained at less than 4,000 acres. This fall, the Forest Service plans to use the same fuel treatment techniques used ahead of the Timber Crater 6 fire.
It'll be adjacent to the Timber Crater 6 fire, and we intend to burn in a controlled fashion about 15,000 acres. so that in the future we have even more success in the Timber Crater 6 fire, keeping fires at the footprint that we want them, depending on the time of year.
Now, the project is called the Boundary RX Prescribed Fire. It will begin between August and October. Lehman predicts it should only take them 3 to 5 days to complete that burn. Now, the state of a forest isn't the only factor that impacts how fast and how hot a fire can burn.
Stormwatch 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman breaks down how weather affects the spread of fire.
When wildfires start, weather plays a big impact on how those fires spread. When you have warm temperatures and also especially very low humidity, that can cause those fires to spread very quickly. And if the area is under drought conditions, the fires can spread even faster. Another big weather factor is strong winds. The stronger the winds, the faster those flames can travel, and they can spread very quickly, those fires, burning many, many acres. And when you get those kind of weather conditions, those critical fire weather conditions, that means fires can spread quick, and they can also spread erratically, and that can cause them to be very hard to get under control. And usually when we do get those weather conditions and those critical fire weather conditions, we get a red flag warning issued. Also, we can get a red flag warning issued when there is a threat for thunderstorms, because of course storms can start those fires in the summer months and even into the fall.
Recovery efforts are still underway after the most destructive fire in California's history. We're digging into how likely our area is to see a fire like that, the one that burned through Paradise, California.
We have now had several summers of smoke. We're diving into how people and businesses are starting to change behaviors out of fear these smoky summers become the norm. Now, here's a look at the evacuation levels you should know about if you live in Oregon.
At West Coast Appliance and Furniture, get up to 65% off select display and clearance models. Or buy a Traeger grill and receive 1 free cover and 1 free bag of pellets. Shop now at West Coast Appliance and Furniture on Crater Lake Highway, Central Point.
Since 1986, my father Claudio built Alvarez Construction and Restoration to be there when people needed him the most. Rebuilding a home or business after a flood or fire is really about the process of rebuilding people's lives. When stuff happens, we're here to help. I'm Tim Alvarez, and when stuff happens, give us a call. We'll take care of you.
The official kickoff to the summer season is the annual Blackbird Parking Lot Sale, and this year it's our biggest ever. Thousands of items from every department are priced at pennies on the dollar. Sporting goods, automotive, housewares, clothing, hardware, boots and shoes, lawn and garden, and a lot more. Get a free hot dog and drink on Saturday. While you're there, register for the Blackbird $5,000 Fishing Derby June 22nd at Diamond Lake. It's the sale smart shoppers wait all year long for. The Blackbird Parking Lot Sale.
At Primary Health, we don't see you as just a patient. We see a mother, a daughter, a friend. Your family is important to us, not just when they're sick, but all the time. Primary Health works with the community, bringing all of our expertise together, helping families get healthy, not just when you need us most, but every minute of every day, all the time. Primary Health, where we treat you like family.
My name is Carrie, and I'm from Bend, Oregon. And I'm a volunteer with the American Red Cross. When there's a disaster like a wildfire, when families have lost everything, Red Cross responders, like me, come to help. We give people a place to stay, food and comfort. Sometimes it's just a hug. The Red Cross does so much in our local communities. That's why I give.
Right now, the more you buy, the more you save on Bosch appliances at West Coast Appliance and Furniture. Receive up to a 12% rebate on eligible Bosch kitchen packages. Plus, ask about special financing now at West Coast Appliance and Furniture.
You're watching a Newswatch 12 special report, FireWatch 2019.
The deadliest and most destructive wildfire in recent history is the Camp Fire.
85 people died. That fire swept through Butte County, California on November 8th. More than 13,000 homes were destroyed. In all, the fire destroyed more than 18,000 buildings. Most of the damage happened in the first 4 hours. Firefighters from our region went to help in the days after that destruction.
Seeing this much disaster, we go out on a structure fire, we'll see a few dwellings, maybe a block, and that's pretty extreme for us to experience. But to see this kind of devastation, the amount of it, and it's a once-in-your-career type experience.
In the weeks and months after the Camp Fire, many people are asking, could one of our communities be the next paradise?
Well, the U.S. Forest Service put together a list of places in Oregon most at risk of losing homes to a wildfire. Southern Oregon communities are the most common on this list. They take up 13 of the top 25 spots. Merlin in Josephine County is the #1 community on that list. Medford, Eagle Point, Grants Pass, and Ashland all make the top 10. And Klamath Falls is ranked number 25. The study looked at the likelihood of where a wildfire could burn and its potential for destruction. The study recommends all the communities on the list take steps to minimize the wildfire risk to homes.
Last summer was one of the worst years for wildfire smoke in Southern Oregon and Northern California.
We're digging into how this smoke is still impacting people and businesses a year later. Now, here are some important wildfire terms to be familiar with.
FireWatch 2019, presented by Primary Health and the American Red Cross.
After moving to Lake Creek from California,
yes, we're transplants,
I realized we needed a car that could handle the higher elevations.
Plus have room for the dogs and ranch supplies.
So we bought a Subaru Outback from Southern Oregon Subaru. Now, when we meet our neighbors at the Lake Creek Grange for the Sunday breakfast, it's clear Subaru is the official choice for Southern Oregon. We're Rick.
And Wanda.
And that's what makes a Subaru our Subaru.
Southern Oregon Subaru. Online at sosubaru.com.
We love our Subaru.
Airport, the only name you need to know.
The best thing about Airport is they're just straight up with folks. I love Airport.
Airport on Biddle Road, Medford.
Real people steal people. They want real power, real options, and real value. Grab a lightweight battery-powered chainsaw starting at just $299.95 or a reliable battery-powered blower for only $199.95. This season, make it happen at your local Steel dealer. Search STIHL or visit steeldealers.com.
My name is Carrie, and I'm from Bend, Oregon. And I'm a volunteer with the American Red Cross. When there's a disaster like a wildfire, when families have lost everything, Red Cross responders, like me, come to help. We give people a place to stay, food and comfort. Sometimes it's just a hug. The Red Cross does so much in our local communities. That's why I give.
Physical activity. It releases chemicals in our brain which affects our mood and makes us happier and healthier. Go outside, take a walk, and explore a local trail. A little exercise will make you more confident, less stressed, and healthier. Primary Health works with the community in bringing all of our expertise together, helping families get healthy, not just when you need us most, but every minute of every day, all of the time. Primary Health, where we treat you like family.
You know, this is my third purchase at TC Chevy.
You're definitely part of the family.
It's hassle-free, no pressure, no nagging, no constant yammering about how I need to do something with my life.
TC Chevy, no commission, no kidding.
You're watching a Newswatch 12 special report, FireWatch 2019.
2018 was a summer of smoke. Our region had 16 weeks of fluctuating air quality. It often reached very unhealthy and hazardous ranges. You can see how it moved through our region in this time lapse. These are satellite images of the wildfire smoke from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. These are once a day from July through the beginning of October. And you can see we were impacted by fires in Southern Oregon, California, and all up and down the coast into Canada. We can take a closer look. This is about halfway through July and then halfway through September. And during that time, the Rogue Valley and the Klamath Basin spent multiple weeks above the very unhealthy threshold.
The smoke impacts our health and economy. The Oregon Shakespeare Festival had to cancel or alter 26 outdoor performances in 2018. That led to $2 million of revenue loss. Visits to Crater Lake National Park dropped 14% in July and August compared to previous summers. Hundreds of businesses say they were negatively impacted by the smoke. The Oregon Shakespeare Festival is making some changes to minimize the impacts of smoke. This year, OSF will not make a decision to cancel or move a performance the morning of a show. Instead, it's making the decision up to a full month in advance, starting at the end of July. They'll also only sell 400 tickets instead of 800. Then if they have to move a show to the Mountain Avenue Theater, they won't run out of seats.
What's really in our heart is we want our patrons to be guaranteed to have a seat. And so we don't want to oversell a period when we have a very likely chance of smoke closing. So those 400 seats will mean that 400 seats that we sell, we 400 patrons who can come to town, who can see a play and be happy with what they've seen.
To keep up to date with the very latest smoke-related Oregon Shakespeare Festival changes, keep an eye on KDRV.com. Smoke hurt agriculture in our region as well.
One company refused to buy some Southern Oregon grapes because that company believed the smoke had tainted them. Copper Cane Wines and Provisions refused to take millions of dollars worth of grapes from a handful of vineyards. The company said the grapes had high levels of volatile and non-volatile malonic compounds. Several big wine names offered to buy some thousands tons of grapes that didn't have a place to go. Grape growers impacted by the smoke are also getting federal assistance to help with their losses.
We want you to be the first to know when there's a new wildfire burning.
We'll show you how to stay connected and get the latest updates on whether you're at home, on the go. It's all coming up.
Airport, the only name you need to know.
When I got ready to buy a new truck, I came straight to Airport Chevrolet.
Airport literally saved me thousands of dollars.
Airport on Biddle Road, Medford.
I definitely got what I wanted for my trade-in.
If you've been considering a remodel for your old kitchen, don't push it off any longer. Call KA Designs for a free in-home consultation, where you'll get top-quality woodwork to fit your exact needs and style. Our custom-designed cabinets will be the perfect finishing touch to any room. 3D renderings, hand-selected wood, and on-location assembly no matter where you live. All reasons why KA Designs can offer unmatched care to any project, large or small. Call KA Designs today.
At Primary Health, we don't see you as just a patient. We see a mother, a daughter, a friend. Your family is important to us, not just when they're sick, but all the time. Primary Health works with the community, bringing all of our expertise together, helping families get healthy, not just when you need us most, but every minute of every day, all the time. Primary Health, where we treat you like family.
My name is Carrie, and I'm from Bend, Oregon. And I'm a volunteer with the American Red Cross. When there's a disaster like a wildfire, when families have lost everything, Red Cross responders, like me, come to help. We give people a place to stay, food and comfort. Sometimes it's just a hug. The Red Cross does so much in our local communities. That's why I give.
Airport, the only name you need to know.
Airport managed to get me a better finance rate than even I did.
Airport gave me a lot more than I thought I would get on my trade-in.
Airport on Biddle Road, Medford.
The whole dealership is first rate.
You're watching a Newswatch 12 special report, FireWatch 2019.
When a wildfire starts, Newswatch 12 will keep you updated on how fast the fire is moving and where it's headed.
You can count on us to get the latest updates on air, online, and on the go. On KDRV.com, we have an entire section dedicated to wildfire stories that impact you and your family. Just hover over the News tab and select the FireWatch category.
And make sure you download the Newswatch 12 app. Sign up for those push alerts. That way we can get you the latest breaking news right at your fingertips. And you can find us right here on Newswatch 12 every day.
And thanks for joining us for this Newswatch 12 special report, FireWatch 2019. Just another way Newswatch 12 is watching out for you.
Hi, Kimberly with